All right, let's cut right to it. You're here because something in your house just isn't working. You and your partner are supposed to be the king and queen of your castle, a united front, a team. But somewhere along the line, the signals got crossed. One of you is zigging while the other is zagging, and your kids are caught right in the middle of that chaos. It's a classic case of what I call parental sabotage, and whether you're doing it on purpose or not, the damage is the same. You think you're helping, you think you're being the good cop. But what you're really doing is building a foundation of confusion and disrespect that's going to crumble, and it's going to take your family down with it. Now, I've seen this 1,000 times. It starts with small things. A little comment here, a different rule there. But those small cracks spread, and pretty soon you've got a full-blown fracture in your parental authority. Your children, who are smart little manipulators by nature, learn very quickly how to play you against each other. They know who to go to for the yes after they've already gotten a no. They know who will soften the blow and who will let them off the hook. This isn't just about discipline, it's about the core stability of your family. It's about teaching your children what a healthy, respectful partnership looks like. So today we're going to put a stop to it. We're going to get real about the ways you might be unknowingly chipping away at your partner's authority and, in turn, your own. This isn't about blame. This is about waking up and realizing the long-term consequences of these actions. We're going to identify the 5 most common ways parents undermine each other and give you the tools to stop the cycle right now. Because if the king and queen aren't on the same page, the entire kingdom is in jeopardy. It's time to get your house in order. Let's begin. Let's talk about the first big mistake I see parents make, and it's a doozy. Your partner is in the middle of disciplining your child. Maybe they've raised their voice, maybe they've just laid down a consequence for breaking a rule. And right then, in that critical moment, you swoop in. You jump in to correct them, to adjust the punishment, or to tell them they're being too harsh, and you do it right there in front of the child. You might think you're being the voice of reason, the calm in the storm. But what you've actually done is thrown a grenade into the situation. You've just sent a blaring neon sign to your child that says, Mom or Dad doesn't know what they're doing. Their authority isn't real. I'm the real power here. When you step in to save your child from a consequence, you're not saving them at all. You're crippling them. You're teaching them that rules are negotiable, and that authority can be appealed if you just wait for the weaker link to show up. You've completely neutered your partner's role as a parent in that moment. They're no longer the king or queen. They're just a court jester whose decrees can be overturned on a whim. The message isn't one of love or protection, it's one of division. You've just announced to the entire household that you are not a team. You are 2 separate entities, and your child is now the judge of which one to listen to. The right way to handle this? You bite your tongue. That's right. You stand there and you let your partner finish what they started, even if you're screaming on the inside. You support the play. You present that united front, unbreakable and absolute. Your child needs to see that the 2 of you are a solid wall. Later, when the kids are in bed and the emotions have settled, you have a private conversation. You say, hey, I was uncomfortable with how that went down. Can we talk about a different approach for next time? That's how adults solve problems. That's how leaders lead. You discuss, you strategize, you get on the same page, and you do it behind closed doors. This next one is a classic power play, whether you realize you're doing it or not. Your child comes to you and asks, "Can I go to Jimmy's house?" And you say no. 5 minutes later, they go to your partner and ask the same question, and your partner says yes. Or worse, they ask you both at the same time and you give 2 different answers right there in the living room. What happens next? An argument, a debate, a negotiation, all happening with your child as the star audience member. You've just handed them a front row ticket to the breakdown of your parental authority. You are actively teaching them that your no isn't final and that your partner's yes can override it. This isn't just confusing for a child, it's a strategic lesson in manipulation. They learn that if they don't like the answer they get from one parent, they just need to shop for a better one from the other. You're creating a system where they can pit you against each other to get what they want. It turns your family dynamic into a game of good cop, bad cop, but you're not interrogating a suspect. You're raising a child who is learning to disrespect and disregard one or both of you. A united front means that a no from one parent is a no from both, and a yes from one is a yes from both. There's no daylight between you. So, what's the strategy here? It's simple, but it takes discipline. If your child asks you a question and you're not sure what your partner would say, your default answer should be, Let me talk to your mother or father and we'll give you an answer together. That's it. It's not maybe, it's not we'll see, it's we are a team, and we make decisions as a team. Even if you know you disagree with your partner's likely stance, you present the final decision as a joint one. You back each other up in public, and you hash out your differences in private. Your unity is your power. Don't give it away just to be right in the moment. Alright, so your partner has laid down the law. The child is sent to their room, a privilege is taken away, or screen time is cancelled for the night. The discipline has been delivered, the house is quiet, but then you feel that tug. You feel bad for your child. They're upset, they're crying, and the rescuer in you kicks in. So you sneak into their room with a cookie. You whisper, "Don't worry. Daddy was just in a bad mood." You turn the TV back on for them just for a few minutes after your partner has gone to bed. You are actively, deliberately undoing the consequence that was just established. Let me be crystal clear. This is one of the most destructive things you can do. You're not just overcompensating, you are nullifying your partner. You've just taught your child 3 terrible lessons. First, that consequences aren't real and can be waited out. Second, that the disciplining parent was wrong, mean, or unfair. And third, that you are the good parent, the one who truly understands them, creating an unhealthy alliance against your own partner. You are trading short-term comfort for your child for long-term dysfunction in your family. You're making your partner the villain so you can be the hero. The pain or sadness a child feels from a fair consequence is not something you need to fix. It's a critical part of learning. That discomfort is what teaches them that actions have repercussions. When you swoop in to erase that discomfort, you rob them of that lesson. You're not comforting them. You're indulging your own need to be liked. A truly supportive partner backs the play. Even after the whistle has blown, the consequence stands. Instead of sneaking them a cookie, you can say, "I know you're upset and it's okay to feel that way. Let's talk about how we can make better choices tomorrow." You validate their feelings without invalidating your partner's discipline. This one is insidious. It's quiet, it often happens in whispers or behind a closed door, but it is pure poison to the roots of your family tree. I'm talking about venting to your child about your partner. "I don't know why your mother is so strict. Can you believe your father said that? He's just being ridiculous." Don't tell your dad, but I agree with you. You might feel like you're just blowing off steam or trying to build a bond with your child by showing them you're on their side. But what you're actually doing is forcing your child to carry an emotional burden they are in no way equipped to handle. Think about what you're asking of them. You're forcing them to choose a side in a conflict they should not be a part of. You're painting one of their 2 pillars of security, one of their parents, as flawed, untrustworthy, or foolish. This destroys that parent's credibility in the child's eyes. How can a child respect a parent who they've been told is ridiculous or clueless? You're creating an emotional division, a secret alliance that fundamentally damages the child's relationship with your partner. And don't fool yourself. It damages their relationship with you too, because you've just shown them you're someone who talks behind people's backs. Your child is not your therapist. They are not your confidant or your co-conspirator. They are your child. Your disagreements, your frustrations, your anger toward your partner, that is adult business, and it needs to be handled between adults. Vent to a friend, a therapist, your sister, anyone but the child you are supposed to be raising together. When you are tempted to say something negative, you need to stop and ask yourself, what is my goal here? If the goal is to make yourself feel better at your partner's expense, you have a serious problem. The only message your child should ever get from you about your partner is one of respect, even when you disagree. This last one is for all the perfectionists, the control freaks, the ones who always have to have the last word. Your partner is explaining something to your child and you jump in to clarify. They're telling a story and you interrupt to correct a minor detail. They give an instruction and you immediately follow it up with a better way of doing it. You feel this constant, nagging need to fix what your partner says or does. You might tell yourself you're just trying to be precise or helpful, but the underlying message you're sending is one of dismissal. You're communicating that your partner's voice isn't good enough on its own. Every time you step in to fix something, you're essentially telling both your partner and your child that you are the smarter parent, the more capable parent, the one who is truly in charge. It's a subtle but powerful way of establishing dominance. It's not about teamwork. It's about control. You're prioritizing being right over being unified. This constant correction wears your partner down, making them hesitant to speak up or take the lead in the future. Why would they, when they know you're just going to swoop in and take over? You're silencing their voice in your family's leadership. So what do? You have to learn to let it go. Does it really matter if your partner said the trip to the zoo was on Tuesday when it was on Wednesday? Does it change the fundamental outcome if they explained how to load the dishwasher in a slightly different way than you would have? You have to ask yourself, is this detail worth undermining my partner's authority over? 99% of the time, the answer is a resounding no. Focus on the bigger picture, presenting a united, respectful team to your children. Your unity is far more important than winning a meaningless point about a trivial detail. Let your partner have their voice. So, we've laid it all out on the table. We've looked at the subtle and not so subtle ways parents sabotage each other, creating chaos where there should be calm and division where there should be unity. Maybe you saw yourself in one of these examples, or maybe you saw yourself in all 5. The first step is acknowledging it, and you've done that by watching this. The question now is, what are you going to do about it? Because knowing there's a problem and fixing the problem are two very different things. This isn't just about changing a few habits. It's about fundamentally shifting your mindset from me to we. Your children don't need a perfect parent. What they need are 2 parents who respect each other, who have each other's backs, and who present a consistent and predictable front. They need to know that the king and queen of the household are ruling from the same throne, speaking with one voice. This is the foundation of their security. When they feel that stability, they thrive. When they see that respectful partnership modeled for them, they learn how to build healthy relationships in their own lives. This is your legacy. The choice to stop undermining, to stop competing, and to start cooperating is the greatest gift you can give them. So starting tonight, I want you to have a conversation with your partner. Not a fight, not an accusation, but a real honest talk. Share this video, talk about where you've gone wrong, and commit together to a new strategy. A strategy of unity, private discussions, and public support. It won't be easy at first. Old habits die hard, but your family's future is worth the effort. It's time to restore order to your kingdom. It's time to be the leaders your children deserve. Get to work.